Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you from North Carolina. Well, welcome to another update for February 16th for the Appalachian Trail 2019 Thru-Hiker class. Everything's going great for them out there. Weather hadn't really cooperated greatly, but hey, that's part of the Appalachian Trail, right? No rain, no pain, no main. So anyway, we got a long ways to go, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. If you're new to the channel, this channel is all about supporting the 2019 Appalachian Trail Thru-Hiker class. And we do that by providing you updates, providing you who's on that class that's gotten in touch with us, who's vlogging, who's blogging. And that's mainly what the class is, what the channel's about, is those bloggers and vloggers that we can support. Of course, we support everybody, but we can only support folks if they've got some type of social media account through our comments. So if you've got a social media account and you're not in our list, please let us know. We don't want to leave anybody out. We want to support as many thru-hikers as we can. So let us know in the comment section below, or you can go to our Facebook page at Ramdino Roaming the Trails and let us know there in a comment, or you can even go to our Instagram account, which is just simply Ramdino. The best way you can support the thru-hikers is go and subscribe to this channel below and hit that bell so you get the updates whenever we update the channel, and then go to the Facebook page where you'll find a complete list of thru-hikers that we're tracking, and go to their YouTube page or their vlog and subscribe to them, and then you can go make comments, and let's just support this thru-hiker class of 2019 on the Appalachian Trail all the way to Katahdin, or all the way from Katahdin to Springer, or whichever direction they're going. We just want to support everybody. This channel is also about my adventures on the Appalachian Trail, and so you'll find some of those sections that I've done and videos on that, as well as gear reviews. So go ahead and take a look at those once you get time, or if you got some interest in those. I'll be getting back on the trail myself this coming weekend, February 22nd, and I'll be out there doing a section in North Carolina. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be vlogging on that, and hopefully I'll run into some thru-hikers that we're tracking. I can get some interviews down there, just some interviews of thru-hikers in general, and we can get a taste for what it is like actually out there on the trail. Stay tuned to the end of the channel. We got some cool happenings coming up and a lot of news updates of stuff that's going on out there on the trail. So hang in there to the end, and or you can go down. I've done a new thing this time, and I'll be doing it forward. Is that down in the description section is time coded, so you can go down there and just click on the time code, and you can go to the section of the video that you're most interested in if you want to, skip ahead of stuff. I want to appreciate all the kind comments and everything that everybody's been sending back to me my way. I greatly appreciate that. Please take that energy that you're sending my way and go to the vloggers and bloggers, go to their sites and their journals and do the same thing with them. Make comments and support them and let them know that you're behind them and you're just loving their adventures. All right, so hiker season is getting in full swing now, and we are on the upslope of the bubble that is coming up. Let's go ahead and look at the current registrations. NOBO, we have over 1,660, which is up from 1,612 from last week. Flip-floppers, we have 81, which is up from over 75 last week. And SOBO, folks, we have 75, which is up from over 73. Not a great increase from last week. So, of course, the NOBO, we figured that those folks would that would drop off as people by now for NOBO, since that starts early in the season. They have decided whether they're going or not, and they have already mostly registered by now, so we don't expect that to continue to climb like it had been in the past. Flip-floppers and SOBOs will probably continue to climb. Hey there, Whiskers. Probably continue to climb, and so we'll keep updating you on all of that. We got 58 folks that are registered on March 1st. Now, it's kind of weird anomaly going on there. Last week, they said, according to the ATC website, we had 60. So I don't know if people have dropped off. And, well, I do know people have dropped off, and it very well could be that some folks have actually rescinded their registration. But we do have on March 1st, 58. Of course, the trail, ATC maxes it out at 50. So we're above max there. And April 1st, we've got 54, so we're above max on that date. And then March 17th, we're right there at the threshold of 49. And I would expect there to be maybe another day or two that the trail gets maxed out as the registrations continue. So the first shelter in there is Hawk Mountain Shelter that a lot of people go to. It's not the very first shelter. It is kind of like at the 8 mile mark, which most people do the first day coming in, or a lot of people do. If you don't do that, no shame in that, but a lot of people do that. So usually Hawk Mountain gets pretty crowded. So with all of those folks, you need to get to Hawk Mountain early, before 3, or you need to stop short there at the Hawk Mountain campsite. Or there's also an alternative campsite that's pretty cool. We'll talk about that. That's at Hickory Flats. We'll talk about that a little later on in the episode here. According to the ATC, I called down there and talked to them this morning. 142 people have stepped off as of this morning. And I'm sure that's going to climb throughout the day. But as of this morning, about 9 o'clock, 142 folks had stepped off. So that's tracking right along with where people were registered. You'll recall that we talked about in earlier videos where there was more people registered than were on the trail. And last week that curve reversed. And so now we're ahead of that curve. So hopefully that will stay there permanently. We didn't add a lot of new vloggers to the community. The only one we added was Go Jojo Joe. They're northbound and they're leaving March 21st. We did add a few track blockers. Carl Haverson is NOBO on the 8th. Chunker and Snot are from last year, but they have changed their names. They're no longer going by Chunker and Snot. They're going by Mike and Kathy. And so you'll find those track bloggers down there in the description section. Also, Mike and Kathy have an Instagram page that they're doing as well. And Go Joe has a Facebook page that they're doing. So you can track all those people through their various social media accounts. If I've left somebody off, please get back to me and let me know. We don't want to leave anybody off that's got a social media account that we can track you through. And we look forward to doing that and commenting and helping you out and keeping you pumped up all the way throughout your entire journey. Got a weather report coming in for this week. It's going to be rain. The next 7 days is going to be rain. It doesn't matter if you're in the Smokies, or it doesn't matter if you're just starting down in Springer. You're going to have rain with rain accumulations of 7 inches or more. Of course, we take right now, since we're not too spread out, we're mostly in the south. We are looking at in the Smokies around Asheville and Gatlinburg is where we're taking our reports for, and around Springer is where we are. Around Helena, Georgia is where we're taking our weather reports for in those areas. But they're pretty much the same. Just south of Smokies tonight, you're going to have some pretty good wind gusts. Down at Springer, you're going to have some pretty good wind gusts. It's going to be the wind gusts are going to be around 18 miles an hour, and the lows are going to be in the high 40s. Tomorrow it's going to be pretty windy again, with wind gusts as high as 29 miles an hour, and the lows again are going to be in the high 30s to low 40s. So that's still, with that much wind and it raining, that's still going to be pretty chilly and wet. You don't have to worry about batteries freezing or phones freezing, although those temperatures will bring down the ability of your phone to maintain a charge and your chargers to maintain their charges. But you don't have to worry about any of your filtration systems freezing, or your boots freezing, or your trail runners, or anything like that. And then pretty much throughout the rest of the week, the highs are going to be in the low 50s, with the lows at night being in the high 40s. So that's still pretty chilly. And even down at Springer, all of that's pretty much tracking the same, maybe a few degrees warmer, but not a great deal. Appalachian Trail Thru-Hikers on our updates. We've got Patrick Noonan is updated when he's leaving, and that's March 21st. The videos that we had tons of videos. There's no way I'll be able to touch on every one of them, but I did want to hit a few of them. Hiking with Arrow gave us an intro of all about Arrow, and Arrow is Hiking with Arrow's hiking companion. So I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. If you're not familiar with Hiking with Arrow, she has a very interesting companion. I would encourage you to go to her channel and take a look at that. Chase on the Trail gave us his Big 3, which was his tarp shelter. We had a lot of gear videos out there, including some gear challenge videos. Bill Baker gave us one. Walking Nowhere gave us his entire kit with a 11-pound base weight. all I got to say is wow. I wish I could get mine down to 11 pounds. Dirty Laundry Outdoors gave us their gear list, as did Pangea Hike gave us his mods to his Art Blast. Quicksand on the Trail gave us the gear changes that they're making after consideration of the shakedown hikes that they've done throughout the course of the year. Eastern Backpacking gave us a shakedown backpack or backpacking trip. Chomps gave us her cold weather gear. A couple minutes miscellaneous. We had It's Who We Are gave us their finances not only on the trail, but how they're going to take care of finance at home. So those are always good perspective to see how other folks are doing that. We don't get a tremendous amount of those videos, so we appreciate that. It's Who We Are. JerZee Redneck Adventures gave us a video of getting weighed in and getting on their way, and Patrick Noonan from Ireland gave us his time-saving trips on the trail. So by no means that all the videos, if I didn't include you in that, that doesn't mean that I think less your video. It just means that I didn't have time to go pour through all of those videos that we're getting now that people are getting out on the trail. Hikers out on the trail, we got Underdog on the Appalachian Trail, and his last known as of this morning was at the Georgia Hostel, top of Georgia Hostel, there at Dicks Creek Gap. So he is going to be a really good personality to watch this year and to follow, because he posts a lot of videos. He's got maybe 5 or 6 videos this past week. So Underdog, we appreciate you keeping us updated, and continue to do that. Other updates from Hikers on the Trail. Wrongway, of course, is my front leading edge intel right now, and he's hiking with Frank the Tank. Been with him since Irwin to Irwin from Hot Springs, and currently he's in Irwin. Last night he slept under a bridge in Irwin. He says the week's been good. He's had some rains, and he's now using an umbrella. He spent Wednesday in Johnson City with Tank, and he plans to head out Sunday morning after a day there in Irwin with Marie. So appreciate the update, Wrongway. Keep them coming. James Hikes, he left Neels Gap on Wednesday, and he's NOBO, but he did have to return home for some injury rehab and some gear change-outs. But he has given us his gear updates, and so presumably he's getting out on the trail, so we look for his update real soon. 3 Mile is tracking with Fresh Ground. Fresh Ground is coming into Hogpen Gap, so we assume that that's where 3 Mile is approaching Hogpen Gap. JerZee Redneck Adventures indicated to me that they had ran into Fresh Ground, as did Artemis, and JerZee Redneck Adventures is going to be at Neels Gap, going to make there today for a Nero, and then probably a 0 tomorrow. Artemis should be coming, she's past Neels Gap, and she's somewhere between Neels Gap and Dicks Creek, and we're looking forward to her dropping a video today sometime or tomorrow. So Artemis, she's another personality out there that's going to be really neat to follow, as are they all, but she tends to post a lot, so Artemis, we look forward to that post. So that's all the folks that, that's not all the folks that are on the trail, but that is all the folks that we've been able to track that have posted since our last update. The only one that's off the trail that we know of for any great length of time is Mimi Wonders, and she's a Facebook personality, and she is off the trail on a cruise for a few weeks with her husband. So Mimi, let us know when you get back. Hope you have a good time on your cruise, and look forward to you getting back and getting your land legs back up underneath you. Starting next week, we have Dudley Do-Right on February 17th, H. Fernandez on February 18th, Craig Maines is starting his yo-yo on February 20th, Halo starting February 18th, Outdoor Adventures is February 23rd, Richard Gadd is NOBO, he's February 21st, Stalling Bear Thru-Hiking Ventures is February 18th, Wonder Woman Christy, Annette, and Lynn is NOBO February 21st. So we look forward to all of those people getting on the trail out there and starting to update their blogs or vlogs, and us supporting you all the way. So good luck with those guys. Look forward to that. A little bit of news from the trail. Fresh Ground and the Leapfrog Cafe, we've already indicated, is started. And they started out by bringing food to folks at Gooch Gap. And Artemis was one of those folks there. And that's like a 1.5 mile walk off the trailhead. And they brought fresh pancakes, bananas, and coffee. So kudos to you, Fresh Ground, for doing that. and all that you do. I know those folks on a wet and rainy, chilly day appreciated that at Gooch Gap. Today, Fresh Ground is leaving at noon from Woody Gap, and he's going to be heading up to his next stop is Hogpen Gap, and he'll be setting up there for another day or so. And he's got a special helper with him, personality from last year, and that's PT, or otherwise known as probation termination. So PT, we look forward to seeing you and your adventures there with Fresh Ground. We appreciate you helping him out. And folks, that ought to be really interesting with PT and Fresh Ground all teamed up together. So go ahead and check out PT's channel. I'm sure he'll have some updates on what's going on and possibly some interviews. And of course, Fresh Ground has his Facebook page, so check that out as well. James Hikes, he did want to send us a warning about mice in the bear boxes down in Georgia, and even up getting into his gear on the cable. He had a lot of food that got contaminated from mice getting into it. He had his food in the bear boxes that are down in Georgia, and the mice even got into it down there somehow, so there must be a hole in the bottom of one of those bear boxes. And he had his gear up on the bear cables, and even though they have the chipmunk and mouse guards on them, the little metal disc that on the cable supposed to keep them from jumping it. If you've ever watched the acrobatics of a squirrel, you know that a squirrel or chipmunk can get right past that. So the moral of that is you need to take everything, food, toothpaste, toiletries, anything that smells, take it out of your pack, put it in a separate container somewhere. If you have a canister, put it in a canister 100, 200 feet away from camp, or take a bear bag and hang it somewhere away from camp, because even if you put it on the cables, it's not safe. I've been a victim of that myself. Here's a picture of my pack that I had everything in my pack. I stayed in the shelter, but I had this hung on the bear cables, and they got right in this pouch. The bad part about it is that the little rodents, the pouch was not a zip-up pouch. They could have climbed in the end, but no, they had to chew and make a new hole into it, and they don't make a neat hole. And that's where I put my water bottles. So now I was worried about contaminating the end of my water bottle when I stick it back in that pouch as I'm walking, because I stick it with the mouthpiece in toward it. So that kind of bothered me throughout the rest of my hike, worried about getting contamination from the mice where they had crawled all in that pouch. So hang those bags or put them in a canister somewhere well away from camp. Also want to remind you, if you didn't know, about the Appalachian Trail Kickoff at Amicalola Falls. That's March 1st. I'll be having an update on that, a little more explanation about that later in a different video. But that is at Amicalola Falls State Park. They have 42 tent spots, of which 15 are already taken. So you need to call up there and get your tent spot reserved. I don't know what happens with overflow yet. I'm sure they have an overflow place, so I'll be finding that out and getting that information to you, as well as if there's any cost. During that Appalachian Trail Kickoff, there's lots of classes you can go to of previous people that have been on the trail and vendors that are up there, and it's just a good time for the hiker community to come together, and the first hiker community get-together of the year that I'm aware of. So I'll be there, looking forward to meeting people and meeting subscribers and folks out there, and just doing some interviews and just being a part of in the real world of the hiker community. So y'all check that out if you can. Some cool happenings in the channel this week. Appreciate the kind shout out from Bearded Servant. He's a great guy and very kind brother, and I just appreciate that, Bearded Servant. Hiking Sailor wanted me to mention that he's got a video on vlogging that he posted from his previous through hike. So that could be useful for folks this year that are vlogging. Scott Kent, a subscriber, commented that rather than staying at Hawk Mountain, you could stay at Hickory Flats, which is at mile 6.3. And that's about 1.8 miles south of Hawk Mountain. So some people like to do a little more than that, but that may be the perfect mileage for you for the first day from Springer Mountain right out of the gate, particularly if you've done the approach trail, or if you've hiked in from the parking lot, which adds an additional mile to your walk. So that would be at 7.3 miles. So there at Hickory Flats, it's actually a church sponsored place, and they have the church oftentimes leaves water there for you, but they have a shelter that is a very large shelter that has some picnic tables at it. It's got a, it's like a big pavilion, and they have a large grass area there. And the biggest thing is they actually have a flush toilet there. So if you don't want to make it all the way to Hawk Mountain, or you're going to be getting in late, that might be an option for you that you might want to consider doing. I'm starting 2 new sections to the channel this week, and that is, my first one is Hikers Helping Hikers. So those are going to be links for other hikers that are helping hikers out there, but also for hikers that are going to be on the trail that you can go and help. So, for instance, I have Hiker Focus from Swat Sullivan, a link to his webpage where you can go and find the status of most of the folks that are on this channel. And then also we have Trail Magic that you can do from home vis-a-vis Station 19E, where you can go to the webpage and you can buy a pour it forward beer to somebody, or you can buy breakfast for them, a snack, or you can even buy bunk space for them. So go and check that out. I've also included a link to Hiking with Air, which is www.airoutfitters.co, not .com, but .co, C-O, where she is selling t-shirts for thru hikers it says Appalachian Trail 2019 thru hikers. And she's not only supporting her channel, but part of the proceeds will go to the hiker community. And then Sarah Hikes also is a thru hiker this year, and she started a children's teaching channel about the AT. And then the other section I'm starting is a Trail Magic Notice. So it's going to be, I'd like for it to be kind of like Trail Magic Central. So if you are a viewer or subscriber and you are going to be doing Trail Magic and you want people to know where it's at, then let me know. We'll get that updated quickly through the community tab on our channel. And so we won't have to wait till the end of the week for an update. We'll just do that right away. For instance, we'll be updating Fresh Ground. And then also, you'll notice this week, if you're a subscriber, they already updated the Green Mountain Brigade, and they are a branch of the Royal Rangers, which is kind of a group of folks that get together and they dress up in, I believe it's Revolutionary War or frontiersman outfits, and kind of do things the way they used to do, the old-fashioned way. So they cook food over Dutch ovens, cast iron oven over open fires. And they're doing a big hiker feed like they've done the past 2 years. They plan on doing that at Burningtown Gap in North Carolina on March 29th and March 30th. They'll be having homemade chili, vegetable soup, biscuits in a Dutch oven over an open fire, and lots of other items to support the hike. So if you're a thru hiker, plug into that there at Burningtown Gap on March 29th and 30th. And they've also let me know that so that there's not a duplication of other people doing Trail Magic in the same area, so that we don't have a redundancy and we get spread out there, and then that way that people can have Trail Magic in numerous places throughout the trail. All right, folks, that's it for this week. Appreciate it. If you don't want to watch the whole channel, you can go to the description channel. Of course, by now you have already watched it, but if you skipped ahead, then you've already found the time coding there. So I hope you enjoyed that. You can subscribe to this channel by hitting my face in the end notes, or going up and hitting the bell right there and subscribing. And we help you do that and support everybody all the way to Katahdin or all the way back to Springer. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.